Okay, I feel like talking just for a few minutes because I just uploaded a video that something came to me is that there's no such thing as a physical. I mean, the need to balance, here's the thing, because I had need to click off before I really finished everything I needed to say when I said I need to be 100% about the spiritual world, because everything is 100% spiritual. There is no physical. I said that, but here's what I want to talk about: the balance though. When I talk about balancing the spiritual with the physical, it's only because if you spend so much time in with a physical mindset, you have working towards being more spiritual. It's going to have to be a balance. So you're going to have to keep like what you call grounding yourself until you get completely over into the spiritual mindset instead of having the physical mindset. It's like a process. So I don't mean just cold turkey. Oh, I'm all spiritual. I'm 100%, but it's a process, but it needs to happen because the physical is not even physical. That's lies. That has to do with the senses that a lot of people have had to limited themselves to due to having to work all the time, due to having to take care of family, children, school systems, education is a big thing that lock people into five senses of education. Okay, and practicing all these careers that's non-spiritual. You can't even have herbalists in the United States. I mean, a lot of herbalists even been murdered. So, especially United States of America, you're just not allowed to go really beyond five senses like that. You know, even though they got spiritual practitioners. Shoot, now they starting to have technology out. I heard somebody else talk about this. I looked at her video yesterday. They got technology out talking about, oh, you can speak to your dead relatives. So now they about to replace these spiritualists. See, now they about to replace these spiritualists. So they got rid of those herbalists because the herbalists was taken away from them hospitals. But now they got all this technology about you can speak to your dead relatives and you do whatever you want to do. Now they about to take away from these spiritualists, these people. Okay. But I want to talk about something I've been seeing ever since 2020. I saw a lot got kicked off in 2020. And then by 2021 and 2022, really a lot in 2022. I saw a lot more. And I saw a lot of zombies. In the spiritual, right? Not with the two eyes that we use to look outside all the time. In the spiritual. I use an example of I was in Palm Springs, and I go to this place called Jersey Mike's. It's called Jersey Mike's. They have like a lot of subs and stuff like that. Okay, and so it's a young lady that I saw working in there. You know, just nice looking lady. You know, just regular looking, Caucasian girl. Not that matters. I'm just saying, you know, you see them with your two eyes. They look all sweet, nice and stuff. You know, and the rest of the people, they look like regular folks. Later on that night, I saw what was really going on in the spiritual, what was really there in the spiritual. And I saw that same girl, that same lady in the spiritual. And it looked like her face, it turned into like, it's like she turned into this scarecrow or something. Like she showed that she was a zombie. But the way her face looked is like she had this big smile that go from ear to ear. And she looked like she was some kind of a zombie. I saw this. I'm going to tell you something. I saw this at a particular place I work. Now, that's why I'm not going to be trying to stay there too long. I saw this at a particular place I work now. It's a lady that's a nice, you know, she's a CNA. And I like her. She's nice, you know. I mean, it appears nice on the outside. I don't know anything about her personal life. I don't know what she is when she goes home and all that stuff. I don't know that. I know how she is when I see her at work. Okay? And once again, I saw her in the spiritual. I just happened to, for some reason, it just happened to show me this lady. Okay, she's a Latina lady. Nothing that matters, but I'm describing what she looked like. That really doesn't, matter. But I have to say, I haven't seen too many. Brown people are supposed to be the zombies, but I just haven't seen this with too many brown people in the physical. I mean, in the spiritual yet. Once again, I saw a zombie again. Okay, that nice Latina woman. I saw her in the spiritual, and she it's like her eyes were just like rolled up, like she was possessed. I saw in the spiritual, she was sitting in this chair, and her eyes were rolled up, like she was just possessed. Okay, so I say that to say, and I've seen that with other people too that I work around. So I say that to say, my reason for becoming more spiritual. That's some scary shit to see with your real eyes. That's some scary. But you know what? I think that's what's really going on. Okay, I want to talk about this movie called Bird Box. It's a movie called Bird Box. I don't know if it just was a Netflix movie. I don't know what kind of movie it was. I just remember people were talking about it. I remember somebody decoding it. When I looked at it on somebody on YouTube around 2019, somebody decoded that movie. And then I decided to watch Bird Box. So Bird Box is a must see because I'm about to tell you what I'm seeing right now. So in this movie Bird Box, it's kind of like a thriller, right? So what happens is these people are in this house, and it's like in order for them to go outside, they must have blindfolds on so what they see will not affect them. So what they see is like if they go without blindfolds on, that they will be possessed. So they always had to go out with blindfolds. It's so strange, like they had to have blindfolds because the minute they go, because the minute they leave, they go out the house and they don't have blindfolds on, it's like whatever's outside will completely take over them and they'll be ruined. Okay, they'll be ruined. Here's what I'm about to tell you. From my experience of what I'm seeing in the spiritual realm right now since 2021 or 2022, what I'm seeing is Bird Box. What we call our physical eyes is the blindfold. We're not seeing in the spiritual world with our physical eyes. We're not seeing, I call the spiritual world the astral world. But anyway, we're not seeing, here's the thing. We're not seeing what's really happening without what we call our physical eyes. Let me say with our five senses. Because we use our sixth sense and other senses, we're going to see what's happening. We're going to see what we're really looking at. And what we're really looking at, these people that we see, that's not what they're doing. This lady is nice. She's sweet, like the CNA. She's nice. She does a good job. She does her job. I never seen her lazy. She always seems like she's in an upbeat mood. It seemed like a nice lady. And I think she is a nice lady. But when I saw in the spiritual, she looked like she was possessed. She looked like a zombie. This is not how I saw people prior to 2020. Okay? So, and the same thing with the lady in Subway. I'm going to say this. I saw a guy walking to a car. Walking to an SUV. As I'm talking slowly because I'm getting out of my five senses as I'm saying. I need to separate from the physical body. What I mean by that is stop identifying so much with it because the physical body or the five senses, what we feel like is a physical body, is holding on to all these different emotions, such as fear and all that stuff. I need to kind of separate from all that stuff, because all of the emotions that's attached to what you call a physical body is almost like preventing you from seeing things for what they are, because of the five senses and what you call a physical body is so much low emotions or mixed emotions in there that it's causing people to be afraid from seeing things for what they are. Okay. Let me tell you something. I saw a guy. I was parked outside in the parking lot, and I saw a guy go to this SUV, and he got in on. I know I saw him get in on that passenger side. I saw him get in on the passenger side. Why I feel like my other spiritual senses wanted to kick in, and I felt like he was right next to my doggone window. I felt like he was right next to my passenger window, looking at me. I said, in my physical eyes, I saw his ass go in this SUV. For some reason, in the spiritual, I feel like he was right outside my doggone car looking at me through the passenger window. Our physical eyes are lying to us. Our physical eyes are those blindfolds that I feel like them people had to wear in Bird Box. Because I feel like if their real eyes open, they wouldn't be able to handle what they saw. If their real eyes opened up and they saw things for what it was, they wouldn't be able to handle it. They would lose their mind. They would go crazy. I saw this guy go sit in that SUV with my physical eyes. Okay, with the fake eyes. That's why I say I got to release attachment to the physical world, because the physical world is lying to us. Okay, but then I got this sense, and this is the last time I'm going to say it, I got this sense in the spiritual. It's almost like I saw him, I felt it, and I saw him looking dead at me, standing next to my car. And I got several other examples where that came from. I've seen several people, their souls are trapped, have been trapped. I'm not one to like hop on anybody for their souls being trapped, because I done told my story before. So I'm not one to get on that, but I've just been seeing a lot going on with people since 2020. That's all I'm saying. It's not to, you know. Now that guy was a brown guy. That was a brown male that I said I know I saw him going to passenger side, and then all of a sudden I saw in the spiritual he was standing right next to my doggone car, looking at me. Because we're not, a lot of us not using our spiritual eyes, so we're using our physical eyes are showing us one thing, but the spiritual eye, you see something else. In the spiritual eye, I saw that man next to my car. The physical eye, I saw him sitting in his car, or whoever's car he was getting into. That's what I saw. The physical eyes, it shows you lies. The spiritual eyes show you the truth. I saw him next to my car, staring at me. Okay? I don't want to live this lie anymore. I don't want to keep balancing the physical with the spiritual. The physical eyes are lies. But it has to be a process. It still needs to be a process getting more into the spiritual, because it's some horrors out here. It's some real horrors going on. It's some real horrors. It's the reason I heard somebody say we in Gotham City. We in Gotham City. They ain't lying. I heard a lady say that over plenty of times. She not lying. Let me tell you something. A lot of times I meditate, I always see Batman. I always see Batman. I see Batman a lot. But so spiritually she gets what's going on. But it's a trip. It's a real trip. So when I think about Bird Box, and then that'll be it, because it's time to like, you know, it's time for me to like turn in. But like that movie Bird Box, when those people like, in order for them to go outside their house, they needed to put on their blindfolds. For me, that blindfold is symbolic of the physical eyes that we use every day. The physical eyes that we use every day, our two eyes that we feel like we use every day. Though that's the blindfold. That's what's showing us the light. That keeps us from seeing the truth. If they go out without them blindfolds, which to me means that your spiritual eyes open and you see what's really happening, instead of you think you seeing cars in the parking lot and you think you seeing somebody walking with a couple walking with their hands holding hands. You think you see that with your physical eyes. Your spiritual eye open, and you see probably people eating other folks and all this stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, I just saw a couple whole hands. Why am I seeing all this crazy stuff now? Because your spiritual eye open, now you seeing what's really happening. To me, that's the Bird Box. The Bird Box is like, you got to keep the physical eyes, because if that spiritual eye open and you see what's really happening, and you see it too soon before you're really able to take that in. If you see it like that, if you see what's really happening before you learn to separate from your physical body, it'll scare the hell out you. Because you know what, we've had dreams about all kind of crazy stuff, and we wake up, right? In the physical world, we don't see them things that we see in those dreams. If you see those same things in the physical world, it's like, it'll blow your mind. But ooh-wee. I feel like I get the idea of Bird Box now. The blindfold that those people had to make sure they put on is our physical eyes that we're using every day right now. The physical eyes, the lies that we see every day is protecting us from the truth, because the truth is horrible right now. But it's horrible, like maybe in the United States of America. It might be horrible in certain parts of the world. But it might not be horrible in areas where Babylon does not exist, really. Let me say it like that. It might not be horrible in those areas. For example, like, let me use like the Andaman Islands, which I feel like that's where the Senegalese tribe is. I've never been over there. People will get killed if they try to go over there. But that's a place where there's no Wi-Fi. That's a place where it's like, it seems like it's clean, like the atmosphere is clean. That's in India. Okay? That's in India. And those people, they black. They look African, they black. And that's a what? 60,000, 100,000-year-old tribe. Well, I don't want to call it tribe, but yeah. And they're black. Dark skin. Very dark skin. With coily hair. Not straight hair, coily hair. Okay? But see, in a place like that, in that area, if you were to ever get into an area like that, that's kind of still clean and pure, and the people there, they live in a jungle like that, you wouldn't see zombies like that. You wouldn't see that kind of activity happen. Because it's very organic. It's very natural. They haven't been messed with. They haven't been tampered with. But like United States of America, especially in a lot of places, people are already zombies. A lot of people are zombies. A lot of people are zombies. A lot of people are zombies. Okay? And if you're going through something, it's almost like it's going to be an extra work to work on what you might be dealing with spiritually in an area where there's a lot of zombies, where people look like they're walking around. People look like they're walking around having a good time, because that's the blindfolds that those people use in Bird Box. What we see with our physical eyes will look like just people going on about their lives. That's the blindfolds that we're using. That spiritual eye open and you see things for what it is. Instead of seeing them people going on about their business, you're going to see some other crazy stuff. And depending on where you are, it could be some horror stuff. It could be horror. Okay? And so that's why I say I'm not going to keep balancing the physical. I balance the physical as much as I can because it's a process to get back to spiritual. It's just a process. Completely spiritual, that's what I mean. It's a process. So I balance it because it's a process, because you got to give yourself time. But not to hold on to it. Not to hold on to it. No. But anyway, that's it, and I'll talk later.